Welcome dear students in today's class. Today we'll start with the lesson from Vistas, a supplementary reader, lesson number 1, the third level. You can open your books, Vistas, third level lesson number 1 by Jack Finney. Right? So, here we go with lesson number 1, the third level. Right? Third Level by Jack Finney. Before you read, have you ever had any curious experience which others find hard to believe? When we share such experiences with others, they don't, believe. Right? The third level, a level which the narrator's friends might not believe, relatives might not believe, the readers will find hard to believe, but he discusses the third level, right? So, and if you see the image on the top of the lesson is also of a clock tower, right? Before we start reading this lesson, dear students, I wish to share with you some images which will help you out in understanding this lesson. Yes, so let me share those images with you. And yes, this is the image number 7. This is, we'll move on to all the images. Image number 1, the mutton sleeves. The type of sleeves you see in this sweater, in this uh, attire, if you see, is mutton sleeves, right? Because all these images are associated with the third level according to the narrator, right? Now, this is handlebar mustaches. Handlebar mustache. You might have seen the popular cricket people, cricket stars and sports stars and actors and all keeping these old fashioned mustaches now, which are quite in fashion and vogue. This is derby hat. And this image which I have shared with you is of derby hat and the man wearing the same type of hat. The point here in discussing all these images is when you read them, you understand them, and these images are associated with the third level as per the discussion done by the narrator. And if you see lapel, now this is the part below the collar, a blue arrow you can see. Though we know all these things and even we have seen, but when it comes to understanding, the images help us a lot. Now, glint, light that glints in your eyes sometimes when you are driving or cycling or moving, and the front lights, you find them glinting like this. Then this is the image number 7, spittoons. Now, this is the, as the term itself suggests, to spit. The narrator found these associations on the third level. I hope, let me share once fast all these images: mutton sleeves, handlebar mustaches, derby hat, man wearing. I have collected these images just to discuss the meanings of these words as well as so that the meanings and the images make help us in understanding the associations with the lesson. Now, let us move to the chapter and the reading part of the lesson. Yes, let us move to the reading part. Have you ever had any curious experience which others find hard to believe? The president of New York Central and New York, New Haven, and Hartford railroads will swear on a stack of timetables that there are only two. What two he's talking? He's talking of two levels. He is here telling us, the narrator, that the presidents of the New York Central and New York, New Haven, and Hartford railroads will swear, will argue, will confirm on the heap of timetables, on the papers, the timetables that they have made of the railroads and all, that there are only two levels, but I say there are three. So the argument has started from here only, that I argue, I say that there are three because I have been on the third level of Grand Central Station. Kindly take your pencil in your hand and open this page, the beginning of the lesson, right? And the narrator says that I say there are three levels. I'm adding the word levels because I have been on the third level, because this level in the next line justifies the above line. I say there are three because I have been on the third level of the Grand Central Station. Yes, I have taken obvious step. I talked to a psychiatrist friend of mine, among others. I told him about the third level at Grand Central Station, and he said that it was a walking dream wish fulfillment. Please underline this. When our narrator talked to the psychiatrist friend of his, he said he had been living in some imagination and walking dream wish fulfillment. Right? It was a dream sort of walk or walking dream wish fulfillment. A fulfillment of a wish in a dream. He said, I was unhappy. That made my wife kind of mad, but he explained that he meant the modern world is full of insecurity, fear, war, worry, and rest of it. Dear students, we did the poem Keeping Quiet, right? And the poet there addresses all the readers to be quiet, so that we all can get escapes from our fears, insecurities, wars, worries. So, somewhere or the other, we find that his wife, when she heard that my husband, that is Charlie, the narrator of this lesson, Charlie, is not well and mentally tired and anxious and worried, she felt bad. But the doctor, the psychiatrist friend, explained that he meant the modern world is full of insecurity, and in these anxieties and insecurities and fears and tensions, we often feel that let us run away from all this, and I just want to escape. You might have heard sometimes people talking that I want to quit and I want to stop all this what I am doing. So this is that escapism that is being referred in the lesson. Please understand the question, what type of escape the narrator is talking. The narrator is talking from escape from the world of insecurities, fears, wars, worries, anxieties, and all types of tensions that we suffer in our day-to-day life. Everybody I know wants to escape, but they don't wander down into any third level at Grand Central Station. By a matter of chance, he stepped into this onto this third level. But that's the reason, he said, and my friends all agreed. Everything points to it, they claimed. My stamp collecting, for example, that's a temporary refuge from reality. Now, dear students, please underline this: temporary refuge are hobbies, and all the pleasure and the leisure activities that do are wonderful activities that give us this escape sort of feeling for some time. If we are a good player, it allows us, enables us to forget everything and completely put ourselves into that playing. If we are a dancer, singer, musician, or any person who is a instrumental player, or any person who does some activity in the form of a leisure or free time activity, which, or even if he's not free, derives out time for that activity, is a wonderful thing that gives us refuge from reality, right? And he also shares that my grandfather didn't need any refuge of this type in his life. So 100 years back, if we go, there was less of rushing and running as we hear from our grandparents, right? So, well, maybe, but my grandfather didn't need any refuge from reality. This temporary refuge was his requirement, not his grandfather's. And he shares that things were pretty nice and peaceful in his day from all I hear and started my collection. So his grandfather was fond of stamp collection, and he is also fond of collecting stamps. It's a nice collection, two blocks of four of practically every US issue, first day covers, and so on. Dear students, please underline this first day covers, which we will be reading in the next uh, session or next part of the lesson. So first day covers are those covers when a stamp is issued, the stamp collectors, they post themselves with a empty envelope, pasting that, buying that stamp, new stamp on the first day of the release, and they send themselves because then it bears the date of the first day cover, right? President Roosevelt collected stamps too, you know. Then he assures the readers by telling them that President Roosevelt was also fond of collecting stamps. Now, after talking about the third level that Charlie is longing to go, or the anxieties and worries of the modern man, we come to discuss, or we have discussed about the leisure activities that give us a temporary refuge, escape from the world of worries. Anyway, here's what happened at Grand Central. Now he comes to explain. One night last summer, I worked late at office. I was in a hurry to get uptown to my apartment, so I decided to take the subway from Grand Central because it is faster than the bus. Now, I don't know why this should have happened to me. I'm just an ordinary guy named Charlie, 31 years old, and I was wearing a tan gabardine suit and a straw hat and a fancy band. I passed a dozen of men who looked just like me, and I wasn't trying to escape from anything. I just wanted to get home to Louisa, my wife. I'm an ordinary guy, and I was rushing to reach home as any ordinary person who becomes late from his office or gets late wishes to reach to his wife and family and all. So, the story actually begins from here, that how did he reach that central, Grand Central third level. I turned into Grand Central from Vanderbilt Avenue and went down the steps to the first level where you take the trains like 20th century. Now, then I walked down another flight to the second level where the suburban trains leave from, ducked into an arched doorway heading for the subway and got lost. So he entered into an arched doorway, a passage, and he got lost. That's easy to do. I have been in and out of Grand Central hundreds of times. He says that he had been to this Grand Central station hundreds of times. But I'm always bumping into new doorways and stairs and corridors. Once I got into a tunnel about a mile long and came out in the lobby of Roosevelt Hotel. Another time I came up in an office building of 46th Street, 3 blocks away. Now he shares his experiences that many times he has been lost in the corridors of Grand Central Station, and sometimes he has reached somewhere other place through tunnels and corridors and has come out. So he wishes to explain the literally the Grand Central Station is a means of escape from one place to another, and also the figurative here, the thing has been discussed that Grand Central, sometimes I think Grand Central is growing like a tree, pushing out new corridors and staircases like roots. And there's a figurative picture also, dear children, in our book given. You can go through the picture and you can see these doors and passages on the bottom as roots which the author is talking. Right, there's probably a long tunnel that nobody knows about, feeling its way under the city right now on its way to Times Square. So if I move back to the last few lines of the last page, sometimes I think Grand Central is growing like a tree, pushing out new corridors and staircases like roots, right? And he also says that sometimes he's confused that how many corridors and how many passages that open into some other passage into passage are there associated with Grand Central Station. There's probably a long tunnel. Then he says there is a possibility of a long tunnel that nobody knows about, feeling its way under the city right now on its way to Times Square, and maybe another Central Park. And maybe because for so many people through the years, Grand Central has been the a mode, a medium of exit. So Grand Central has been an exit, a way of escape. Maybe that's how the tunnel I got into. But I never told my psychiatrist friend about that idea. The corridor I was in began angling left and slanting downward, and I thought that was wrong. But I kept on walking. So he kept on walking on or into the wrong corridor, right? All I could hear was an empty sound of my own footsteps because less people were there. I didn't pass a soul, or people were not there at that moment. Then I heard that sort of hollow roar ahead, that means open space, and people talking. The tunnel turned sharp left. I went down a short flight of stairs and came on the third level at Grand Central Station, which is not there according to the author. But he says that he has been there. Now, dear student, the question is, if it is not there, how he reached there? That's what he is describing and justifying that the existence of third level, how he experienced, right? The tunnel turned sharp left. I went down a short flight of stairs and came out on the third level at Grand Central Station. For just a moment, I thought I was back on the second level, but I saw the room was smaller. There were few ticket windows and the train gates, and the information booth in the center was wood and old looking. So he has almost reached 100 years back, right? And when you and me, if we'll go 100 years back in the same place, we'll find a lot of differences which are there today, right? And the man in the booth wore a green eye shade and long black sleeve protectors. The lights were dim and sort of flickering. Then I saw why they were open flame gas lights, old type of lamps, right? There were brass spittoons. We have shared the images of all these things. Dear students, the paragraph that I'm going to read for you, I have already discussed through images. So it will become very easy for you to understand. What did he find on this third level? There were brass spittoons on the floor, and across the station, a glint of light caught my eye. A glinting eye a glinting light, caught his eye. A man was pulling a gold watch from his vest pocket. The watches that were very much in vogue in olden times, or maybe during the time when he's discussing that particular time when third level was there. A man was pulling a gold watch from his vest pocket. He snapped open the cover, glanced at his watch, and frowned. He wore a derby hat, a black four-button suit with tiny lapels, and he had big black handlebar mustache. Then I looked around and saw that everyone in the station was dressed like 80, 90 something, 1890 something. So he's sharing that he has reached almost Grand Central Station, and the year he's mentioning is 1890 something. I never saw so many beards and sideburns and fancy mustaches in my life. Let us all go back 100 years back. We'll find this today's world and that world a lot of differences, and we'll find as if we have entered in a theater, or the drama sort of thing which we see in television serials 100 years back, right? A woman walked through the train gate. She wore a dress with a leg of mutton sleeves and skirts to the top of her high button shoes. Back of her, out on the tracks, I caught a glimpse of locomotive, a very small career and Ives locomotive with a funnel shaped stack. And then I knew to make sure I walked over to the newsboy. Then, when he saw all these things on this third level and the people wearing 100-year-old time, 100-year-old back costumes, and the way they dressed and the way their hairstyles were and mustaches were, told him that he is somewhere back, as if we through some time machine or through some modern gadget he has reached into the past. To make sure, I walked over to a newsboy and glanced at the stack of papers at his feet. It was the World. The World hasn't been published for years. Now in his world, this newspaper has been stopped from getting published. So he sees that newspaper. The lead story said something about President Cleveland. So you can make out 100 years back, the current president was Cleveland and the newspaper talked of Cleveland. I have found that front page since in the public library files. So he shares that I have read about all these things in the public library. And it was printed June 11, 1894. So he has reached third level and the date is 11th June 1894. I turned towards the ticket windows, knowing that here on the third level at Grand Central, I could buy tickets that would take Louisa and me anywhere in the United States we wanted to go. In the year 1894, and I wanted two tickets to Galesburg, Illinois. Have you ever been there? It's a wonderful town still with big old frame houses, huge lawns, and tremendous trees whose benches meet overhead and roof the streets. And 1894, the summer evenings were twice as long, and people sat out in their lawns. So he wishes to discuss here that people now, they, when he's talking of his present age, they don't have time for their summer evenings and lawns, smoking cigars and talking, and the women waving palm leaf fans with the fireflies all around in a peaceful world. So he's talking of the world 100 years back as a peaceful world, and how he has reached there and how he'll go there through third level to be back there with the first world war still 20 years off. So the first world war has not there been in the picture, right? And the world war second over 40 years in the future. So you can calculate the time from 1894 to 1914 and 1935 or 36 somewhere, or 1945 when the second world war time we talk in our history books. So I wanted the tickets, two tickets for that. This world war first and world war second, over 40 years in the future about to happen, right? So there was more of peace, no wars, no rushing, no machinic life. The clerk figured the fare. He glanced at my fancy hatband, but he figured the fare, and I had enough for two coach tickets one way. But when I counted out money, I looked up. The clerk was staring at me. He nodded at the bills. That ain't money, mister, because he gave him the money which belonged to his world. And he nodded at the bills. That ain't money, mister, he said. And if you're going to skin me, you won't get very far. If you're trying to deceive me with these paper notes and currency and all, you'll not go far. He glanced at the cash drawer beside him. Of course, the money was old style bills, half again as big as the money we use nowadays, and different looking. I turned away and got out fast. There's nothing nice about jail even in 1894. So he left and he moved. He was afraid that he might be caught or they will not understand because he gave him the money that belonged to his world. Right, dear students, I hope you have understood this lesson this much. The first part of the lesson, our protagonist Charlie has reached the third level, right? And the temporary refuge and escapism from the world of tensions and worries. And similar situation is his, he wants to leave. After discussing with his psychiatrist friend, he's being told that it was a dream, wish fulfillment, walking dream, wish fulfillment. So finally, but he reaches the third level. In the next class, we'll read the next part of the lesson, that is the second part, right? You can make a reading of what we have done today. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Stay safe and healthy. Thank you.